Hey guys, today's topic is about how you can gain 45% more muscle eating this kind of specific egg. Now, when I started working out back in the 80s and early 90s, all the bodybuilders, were really big into eggs. However, not the whole egg, but only the egg whites. Actually, it's the opposite of what the 60s and 70s when the guys ate more like whole eggs and steak and more meat and protein. But back then, in the 80s and 90s, we had two types of protein powders. It was dairy or egg whites, nothing else. And I remember this one time going to this bodybuilder's home and, he's going to tell me different books. I'm working out and all this. And he had a dozen hard-boiled eggs. And I thought he was going to eat all of them, right? Which would have been like 1,000 calories. Now, he did eat all dozen eggs, but with a twist. He took out all the yolks and either threw them in the trash or garbage, or he gave it to his Rottweiler dog. And then I asked him why, since, it's all protein and it's this big waste of money throwing away all the yolks. And trust me, this guy was barely getting by each month. I didn't know why he'd waste so much money. Now, he said how the fat is bad for you and all the muscle building protein is in the egg whites without all the extra calories. Well, it made sense to me back then, considering he was big and obviously I was small. Now, in fact, that's how it was back then. Everyone was against fat. Egg yolks supposedly caused, heart attacks and shot up your cholesterol levels. But now we know that's not true. We know better now. Of course, bodybuilders didn't really care about, their hearts or cholesterol levels. They just wanted more muscle. They just didn't want to get fat, and hence why they didn't eat all those yolks, since that's where the majority of the calories are from the eggs. Basically, the thought was more egg whites means more protein, which means more muscle. And that was a theory back then. And again, it all made sense. Yet again, now we know better with this as well. And this is because researchers at the University of Illinois and the University of Toronto did a pretty interesting experiment. Basically, the scientists got a bunch of 21-year-old men who have all been weightlifting, right? So they weren't newbies. They'd all been already training. Now, they did basically leg workouts with all of them. 4 sets of 10 repetitions with both the leg press machine, and then 4 sets with the leg extensions. 10 reps, again, total of 8 sets. Now, after the workout, they gave half the guys egg whites only, and the other half of the guys the whole eggs. Both received 18 grams of protein. Of course, the whole egg group had more calories due to the fat in the yolks. However, they then repeated the same experiment, switching the eggs around. So now the egg white group got the whole eggs, while the whole egg group got the egg whites. Thus, it was a pretty fair comparison and experiment. Well, after doing both blood tests and muscle biopsies, they discovered that the whole egg group had greater levels of mTOR, which is one of the most important signals for promoting muscle growth. And before I continue, I'll be doing lots of videos in the next few weeks about the best ways to grow muscle. And so make sure if you're subscribed, if you're not, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Click the bell icon so you'll be notified when this new muscle building content's released. Now, I also have important links below this video in the description area about building more muscle, so check it out after this video. So continuing on. Typically speaking, the higher the mTOR, the greater the protein synthesis, which should again mean more muscle. Incidentally, this is one of the mechanisms of steroids. They increase protein synthesis. Now, there's other mechanisms I'll get to in future videos, but one of them is increased protein synthesis. Now, here's the interesting part. The whole egg group increased protein synthesis by 45% more than the egg white group. Thus, a much higher probability of gaining muscle over time because of the extra protein synthesis. So what's so special about the whole egg, that, could have caused such a large spike in protein synthesis? The researchers weren't sure, but I personally think one of the reasons is that the whole egg contains all the amino acids. Basically, half of the amino acids out of the 21 are in the yolk and the other half are in the white. Thus, the biological value of the whole egg is actually almost 100%, which is better than almost all proteins. Thus, nature already made it perfect. Now, the yolk also does contain cholesterol, which is needed to make hormones, including testosterone, probably the most potent muscle-building hormone in the body. So if you're going to eat eggs and want to build more muscle and have higher testosterone levels, it's best to also eat the yolks. Now, you may want to do like 4 egg whites and 2 whole eggs, right? You want to mix and match, but you don't want to do, if you don't want to just eat all the extra calories from the yolks, just make sure you don't do only egg whites. Have some yolks. It'll be good for your body, good for your brain, and good for building muscle. And I'll have other videos about this topic as well. Like I said, there's links below this video. As always, thanks for watching and have a happy and healthy day.